Considering the name of this thing, it probably won't surprise you that the Motorola One Zoom is all about that camera tech. For a snifter over 400 quid, you get a quad lens rear snapper packing a 48 megapixel primary lens, sat alongside telephoto and wide angle options, plus a bit of depth sensor action to bring the final tally up to 4. I've been rocking the Motorola One Zoom as my full-time handset for the past few days and really putting that camera through its paces. So here is my in-depth Motorola One Zoom camera review, and for more on the latest and greatest mobile tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Now if you've used a Motorola handset in recent times, the camera setup will be instantly familiar. You can still quick load the camera with just a double wrist twist, which my arthritic joints will just about allow for. And when you're into that app, the layout is basically the same, except now you have a dinky little icon which you can tap to quickly swap between the 48 megapixel primary shooter, the 16 megapixel wide angle lens, and the 8 megapixel telephoto effort. That primary lens has proven perfectly dependable for grabbing everyday shots across a reasonable variety of conditions. Although it's a 48 megapixel sensor, the Motorola One Zoom actually combines pixel information to produce brighter shots, so the end result is actually a 12 megapixel photo instead. All the same, you'll find that each snap is crammed with fine detail, while that face detection autofocus is highly dependable. And thankfully there's a burst shot mode as well, which helps to overcome the occasionally ponderous shutter speed. You also have some built-in optical image stabilization to help prevent any blurry results, even if your hand is trembling from a few too many lunchtime shandies. Motorola's AI smarts are back in action as well, including this rule of thirds jobby which crops into your subject and straightens up any squiffy shots. Sometimes it can be a wee bit over-enthusiastic with the cropping, but often it works quite well, and your original pic is saved alongside the auto edit, so it's all good. HDR unfortunately isn't the Motorola One Zoom's strong point. This phone rarely overexposes a shot, but if you are snapping against a bright sky, then you can expect your subject to appear rather murky. Some serious tweaking often needs to be done in edit to brighten them back up again. When you need to get a closer view, the 8 megapixel telephoto lens offers a powerful 3x optical zoom. This is great for capturing distant landmarks or for grabbing a shot of the kids, pets and other wildlife without intruding on the scene. You once again have built-in OIS to keep things crisp, and the results are as good as you'd get from the likes of the OnePlus 7 Pro or the Honor 20 Pro. There's no color temperature trickiness, and once again plenty of detail is captured despite that megapixel reduction. Alternatively, if your subject is flippin' massive and you're struggling to fit it all in one shot, then Motorola's ultra-wide angle snapper proves ideal. That pulled-back view also offers up quite dramatic results for action shots, and the only caveat is that colours are accentuated using this lens, so you get a less natural looking finish. And as with other Motorola handsets, you once again get a bumper crop of bonus features when you get tired of that auto mode. The Motorola One Zoom crams in a full set of manual controls, while moto staples like the spot colour mode are also back in action, offering a unique finish for your photos. And Motorola's AI smarts can advise you when it's best to swap to a different mode on the fly, so for instance if a fellow human is detected, then you'll be prompted to swap to the portrait mode. With some help from that 5 megapixel depth sensor, this serves up some sharp pics of your subject while blurring out the background. You have full control over the intensity of that bokeh style action, where you can also add various effects to help your pals stand out or just look a wee bit sparkly. Added to the occasional spot of shonkiness, like this example here where part of the background isn't quite blurred out, but on the whole it did work well. More intriguing is Motorola's fresh new night vision mode. The night mode is something that you'll find on the majority of other smartphones these days, even Apple's latest iPhones. And what this does is capture a handful of images at different exposure levels and then melds them together to craft a much brighter, more balanced photo. It's a huge step up from the results in the auto mode for those low light shots. Occasionally your subject will still look a little soft or grainy, especially if you didn't quite manage to keep your hands perfectly still, but the results here are definitely to be commended. On the video front, you don't get that same funky action mode that was introduced on the Motorola One Action, but you can shoot perfectly good looking video at up to 4K resolution. As you'd expect, detail levels are impressive at Ultra HD level, and the image stabilization is actually just as good as you get at Full HD level. This effectively cuts out the worst of the shake, although it's not quite perfectly smooth. Colors are naturally reproduced rather than boosted, while audio pickup is strong as well, both in front and behind the camera. For your home movies, the Motorola One Zoom definitely does the job well, although disappointingly you can't use the telephoto or the wide angle lens for your video needs. Boo. Swap to the front facing camera and you can shoot selfies at a full 25 megapixel resolution or drop at a 6 megapixel using the same quad pixel technology as the rear camera. These shots were taken using the quad pixel tech, and this proves perfectly fine for your outdoor selfies even when shooting against a fairly bright sky. You don't appear too murky while the background isn't blown out either. Naturally, there's a portrait mode if you want literally all of the focus to be on your face. This packs the same customization controls and shonky studio features as the rear cam. And there's a powerfully blind and screen flash mode as well, which can be employed to illuminate your mug and frazzle your retinas whenever it gets really dark.
And you can also shoot a full HD video using that front-facing camera as well. And as you can see there, it kind of struggles in those HDR situations. You might want to stay away from the bright light.
And that right there is what I think of the Motorola One Zoom's quad lens camera after a few days of testing. As you can see, it's not quite infallible, it is fooled by high contrast situations and the like, but overall very, very strong. That new night mode is brilliant, and if you want the flexibility offered by an ultra wide angle lens and a telephoto lens as well, without paying heaven and earth for a really expensive premium flagship, then basically this and the Honor 20 Pro are your best bets. So go check out my full Motorola One Zoom review to see what I think of the rest of this glorious handset, and definitely leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you tempted by this bad boy? 430 quid here in the UK. Definitely packs some really premium features and specs. And for more on the latest and greatest mobile tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers everyone, love you.